Hey everyone, okay, it's Little Nemo, and I am so sorry about the light. I wanted to do a video, and I've been seeing kind of a few of these. Um, and if you haven't seen or read by the title, I'm going to be doing a series called Dumb Shit Series. I live day to day with certain diseases. I have diabetes, celiac disease. I've lived through anxiety, depression. Um, Being homeless, being in an abusive relationship, just there's a list, and I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos, and you're probably going to see me in the same shirt. I'm going to probably be knocking out a couple of these tonight, but I'm going to start my first one. If you haven't read by the title of the video, I suggest you read that, and if you're not accustomed to foul language, well, then I suggest you click off this channel, because there's going to be a lot of it, because there is a lot of dumb shit that people say to me on a day-to-day basis, or, that I've heard over the years. Okay, so the first video I'm getting ready to shoot, and I know the camera is a little wonky right now, but, it's an adjustment period. Sorry about the no makeup. It's life. Deal with it. Anyway, sorry, not sorry. If you haven't read by the first title, it is Dumb Shit People Say to Diabetics. Now, I know there's a couple of fellow diabetics out there who might get, their panties in a bunch. Okay, well, whatever. This is what I've been through. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you that are going to agree with me. So, first off, yes, I'm type 1 diabetic. And if you don't know what the difference is between type 1 and type 2, type 1, my pancreas doesn't work like yours. I can't control it with diet and exercise like a type 2 diabetic can. That I can somewhat control it with that, but I have to do these little bottles, and I should have brought it with me, of insulin. Insulin, for those of you that don't know, they're basically like keys to the little apartment cells that you have in your body that open up the cells and store the energy into your cells, so that way, or store the sugar, the carbs, the fat, all that fun stuff into the cell, so that way later on you can use it for energy that you need for work and school and sports and stuff like that. My body doesn't do that. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox. It's not going to happen unless I take that shot. And I have to take shots anywhere from 4 to 6 times a day, depending on what I'm doing, what I'm eating, where I'm going, also depending on if I'm sick, and I've even experienced it to where even certain elevations will affect my sugar. Now, if you've been on this channel long enough, I live in Arizona now. I used to live in Texas, so back and forth, and I've noticed that certain elevations make my sugar go a little wonky. I've even noticed weather affects my sugar. So, don't call me Chandra for nothing. So that's just a basic of what happens with somebody who is a type 1 diabetic and a type 2 diabetic. Okay, so now, kiddies, now that we got that out of the way, I wrote down a few things, and there's more to come, but I wrote down a few, because I know I'm going to probably end up repeating myself a couple of times. And this is probably going to be a pretty long video. So if you're not into the long videos or this kind of series, I suggest clicking out. So anyway, here we go. So dumb shit number 1. So you can't eat sugar. No, that's not entirely true. I can eat sugar. I just can't indulge in it as, say, a normal person would. So my boyfriend likes to eat cookies and cake, and, well, not so much cake. He likes to eat cookies and sugary cereals and stuff like that. And he can eat his, abundance of cookies and cereal and stuff like that, and just have a little bit of a sugar rush, and he'll be okay 20, 30 minutes later. Me, on the other hand, if I eat cookies or sugary cereal, I get pretty sick without doing the shot. So what happens is like I said, a person's body will see that there's sugar being consumed and calories and carbs and all that stuff, and they send out these little insulin warriors, I guess you can call them. And what they do is they break down the complex carbs and sugar and send it to the cells that are going to use it. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but diabetes is an autoimmune disease. And what that means is that my body decided to attack itself. So anytime I've tried to get better, my body doesn't know whether it needs to attack these cells over here, which are the good cells, or these cells over here, which are the bad ones. So what it does is it attacks all of it, and what would take somebody like a cold to get over, like in a week, it takes me a month. There's times I was so sick all winter long that it went from a cold to flu to pneumonia. That's how, and it went like that. It went in a matter of 2 weeks. I had pneumonia in both my lungs. So, but it's not like that every winter. It's not like that every time I get sick. I mean, my body just decides to pick and choose when I get one. Anyway, so I can have sugar, but instead of not taking a shot, I have to figure out how many carbs are in there and how much insulin units to take to cover the sugar, to make sure that I don't end up going into the hospital. And each diabetic is different. For some, it's like for every 15 grams of sugar, they might have to do an insulin dose. So, like cookies, there are 10 grams of sugar for every cookie in here. So if I was to take 2 cookies, I'd have to do a unit and a half, considering if we do the 15-to-1. But anyway, it's a mess over here. I'm on my boyfriend's computer, and you see a fur baby in the back. There. Okay. Anyway, so next one is, but you're an adult, so you should have type 2 diabetes. Not true. I got diabetes when I was 5 years old, and I'm going to be 25 this October. So I've had it for 20 years. I, unfortunately, will never be a type 2 diabetic because my body has completely shut down my pancreas. My pancreas just doesn't work like a type 2 diabetic. A type 2 diabetic still has pancreatical functions, and they can control theirs with diet and exercise. Now, the way a person gets type 1, no one's entirely sure. My story started out that I ended up getting the flu, what the doctors called the flu. So they gave me some medication to my mom, and long story short, 2 weeks later, I'm almost dead, and my grandma insists that I go into the hospital. And if you guys want me to make a more in-depth video on my diabetic journey, just comment down below or thumbs up this video and let me know, and I will make a longer, more in-depth version from the time I got diagnosed all the way up until now. So yeah, but anyway, so long story short, 5 years old, I'm getting diagnosed with diabetes, and the doctor said there's no way that my pancreas will ever work again. So yes, I am an adult with type 1 diabetes, and shocker, you probably know somebody who's had it maybe longer. Now, I don't know where the diabetic gene came in my family, because the ironic thing that came about of it is that I was the first one to have diabetes in my family that we know of. Type 1. Got it at 5 years old. Fast forward 20 years down the line, or actually like 18 years or so, my mom ends up getting it. But she gets it as a type 2. And so she got it under control and everything like that. then my aunt gets it after her, and then my grandma gets it after her. So I mean, I guess we had the diabetic gene in us, but I got the worst of it all. So anyway, no, I'm not a type 2 adult diabetic. I'm 25. I'm going to be 25 years old. I have type 1. I will always have type 1. And there's nothing really I can do about it. So yeah. Number 3. This one gets me every time. They ask if they can watch to check my sugar. Watch me check my sugar. And usually that's followed by, once I've pricked my finger and they see the blood, it's followed by, ew, 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 blood, ew, ew, ew. What did you think was going to come out of these? Confetti? Like, seriously. If you're squeamish around people who do blood checks, or if you're squeamish around blood, for the love of God, do not ask us if you can watch us check our sugar. Plus, it kind of makes some of us feel really awkward. We're like we're trying to lead normal lives, people, and asking to watch us check our sugar kind of puts us on the spotlight like we're circus freaks. Now, I'm not saying there's a lot of us like that, but to me, it makes me feel socially awkward, like like I have a genetic mutation or something like that, or like, you know, like I have a third eye, or just, it makes us feel awkward, you know, and don't make it feel like, oh, I want to watch, I want to watch, I want to watch. Just ask us kindly, you know, you know, tell us why you want to watch. I've had friends who went into medical fields and turned around and asked me, you know, hey, can I watch you check your sugar, because I want to know, you know, how the process is going. I've had people who were going, you know, I have friends who are EMTs and nurses and stuff like that, and I try and tell them, you know, they tell you to prick on the side of your finger. Don't do that. That hurts us badly, and we bruise. So you have to prick on the pads. And I've had a lot of my nursing, paramedic, doctor friends tell me, you know, that was something that made their patient feel a lot more comfortable, that made them feel, you know, hey, I can trust them, because we're giving you a part of our body to stab with this small needle. So yeah, so if, like I said again, if you have a diabetic friend and you ask to check the sugar, don't start with the ew, because that just makes us feel like we did something wrong, and that makes us not want to check our sugar in public, and we have to hide like hermits, so it makes it social events and situations really awkward. So don't, just don't. So okay, so following that question, for some of you that are a little strange or odd, which I totally get this, I totally understand. You ask, can you check my sugar? Granted, a lot of diabetics are more than willing to show you what it feels like to go through what we go through on a daily, hourly, you know, basis and stuff like that. But keep in mind, we can't check your sugar every single time you want us to check your sugar. Because when we go to the endocrinologist and we check, and you have a blood sugar of like 120, and then 10 minutes later it's all of a sudden 250, the endocrinologist is going to be like, wait a minute. And some of us check our sugars 4 to 6 to 12 times a day, and when you can't even remember, I don't even remember why it went from 140 to 2 something, or why it went from 150 down to like 92, like that, and within a 5-minute span, you know, we have to think of everything. We have to think of, okay, I need to check my sugar, how much do I eat, how much can I eat? Sorry, my phone's going off like crazy. Put the volume down on that. Okay, so like I said, you know, don't be asking us to check your sugar every time. And on top of that, a lot of us can't afford the medical supplies because some insurance companies don't cover simple things like test strips and test needles and stuff like that. So we do kind of treat those things like gold, so don't get mad if one of us turns around and says, hey, I can't, or no, just for that basic fact. So, okay. So, yeah, don't get mad. Then, on top of the can I watch questions, I get this one quite a bit. Can I watch you take your shot? I have no problem showing you how to correctly stab somebody with a needle, especially when it's insulin and it burns like a mofo. It does. Whoever's telling you differently is full of shit, because I've had my boyfriend physically do this to me, and I'm training him to do this to me because he doesn't feel comfortable yet with stabbing me with a needle. We do this out of consideration for the fact that we get sick and we probably can't even tell you our first name. We can't remember who we are sometimes. We get so physically and emotionally drained because our body is trying to find any little source of energy just to do something as simple as open our eyes or get up to go to the bathroom, or even to just do something simple as lift a can. You know, so the basic fact that you can watch us do our shots is great. But if a friend who has diabetes turns around and just say this is a needle and says, here, I want you to try and stick me, it's not that we're trying to make you feel weird, awkward, or anything like that. It's that we're trying to get you to socially accept that we need to stab ourselves or need you to stab us in the leg, arm, whatever may have you. My boyfriend hasn't done it in a long time because he does work a lot and he's not here when I do my shots sometimes, but when I can catch him, I even make him draw up the valve. So, you know, don't get squeamish on us when we tell you, yeah, you can do the shot and everything like that, because when you do pull that needle out, sometimes a little bit of the medicine does come out, or sometimes blood comes out. We're people too. We're not full of confetti and cupcakes, you know. We're not going to shoot out coins like a Vegas slot machine. It doesn't happen. But anyway, so yeah. And then another thing that really gets on my nerves is my grandma has diabetes, so I know what you're going through. No, sweetie, you don't know what I go through on a daily basis. Everybody's diabetic journey is different. I have one of my best friends from high school, and I hope he's okay with me. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that if he ever watches my YouTube channel, which I highly doubt. One of my best friends from high school has had diabetes for his whole entire life. I think he's 26, 27 now. I will have to figure that out. He's had diabetes since he was born. Okay? I didn't get diabetes till I was 5. I have another friend who's 3 or 4 years older than me, and I think he got his when he was about 5 or 6 too. I'm not sure about that. But, you know, everybody's diabetic journey is the same. I mean, those two got their shit together when we were young. I remember my friend, who's the one who's had it since he was, born pretty much. He knew how much he could eat, how much exercise he could have. Don't get me wrong, it sucks when we're kids and we're trying to figure out, that the cupcake that your friend's giving you at the birthday party is going to make you feel like shit in about 2 hours. I digress. He had everything together. He had this cooler. It was about this big, those igloo lunch boxes we carry as a kid, or you carry fishing and stuff like that. He had everything in there. I had a backpack that had, this one specific pocket that had everything in it. My other friend, I think he just carried his and the little meter thing. Anyway, we all did it differently. Unfortunately, mine wasn't as controlled as theirs was. I mean, my mom put me on a diet. I was very insulin sensitive, so meaning if I went too long without my insulin, I got very, very sick very, very quickly. Or if I had thought that I had taken enough insulin to cover my carbs, which I actually overdid it once or twice on accident, not on purpose, my sugar would drop like that, and I'd be almost passed out on the floor. So my mom would be trying to shove, you know, peanut butter crackers down my throat or something. So when someone tells you they have diabetes, don't automatically assume just because you have a relative and you were there that one time to watch them take care of themselves for 2 weeks that their journey is the same as ours, because it's completely and totally different. I personally, like I said, this is going to go more in depth, and I will make a video about this. I wasn't supposed to make it past 10, and I did it. I wasn't supposed to make it past 13, and I did it. I wasn't supposed to make it past 18. I'm going to be 25 October 25th. And the doctor that I talked to last time says I won't make it till 30. Which is a scary deal for me, because 30 is 5 years around the corner. So being constantly told that you have an expiration date, you know, not the funnest thing in the world, but you learn to live with it. Am I afraid of dying? Yeah, hell yeah. Everyone's afraid to die. But I've accepted it. And if I live past 30, that is going to be the biggest accomplishment for me right now, because when you're constantly being told that you're going to die at this age, you're going to die at this age, and nobody knows for sure what age you're going to die. I should have died several times, and I pulled through. So anyway, so those are just a couple of things that people say. Share this video with other diabetics in your life, with friends in your life. Just remember that a lot of you do ask these questions. I mean, some of you might not even realize that you ask these questions, but a lot of you do. And it's okay, we're willing to inform you, but don't get angry with us if we're getting angry with you. Because, I mean, there's lots of us that hear this when we introduce ourselves to new people, especially if we introduce ourselves to groups of people that constantly ask. And it may not be at that moment that they ask. It might be a couple days or weeks down the road. But it's okay. There's also one more thing I would like to point out. Diabetes is not contagious. It is not a fucking cold. I can't just, like, breathe on you and you catch it. It's not like mono, to where if I hand this Pepsi can off to my boyfriend, he's going to get it. People get real. Educate yourself. It is not like that. It's not mono. It's not a cold. It's not the flu. Okay? So when someone tells you we have diabetes, don't treat us like we need to be quarantined. Seriously, this is why a lot of us don't tell you that we have diabetes, is because of the basic fact that once we do, you guys start looking at us like we're circus freaks. I mean, I didn't tell, I was in this relationship with this guy for, I think, 3 years. The first year that I was with him, I didn't tell him right away. Because it seems like every time we tell somebody, a friend, a relationship, or, you know, somebody, they treat us differently. They treat us like we're made of glass, like we're a circus act, like just different things. So anyway, I'm gonna have to cut this video short now because it's 23 minutes long, and I'm pretty sure you guys are annoyed with me by now. But so yeah, I just wanted to put this video out there because there's still a lot of you out there that ask questions about this, and we're, like I said, we are not afraid to inform you, but this is just a basic guidelines of questions you should not ask. Seriously, folks. There are just some things that you need to have enough common sense to think about. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, there's going to be a whole series of this. If you see me in the same shirt, it's probably because I'm filming one after the other, trying to knock a bunch of these out, just because of the basic fact that I know I haven't been filming a while, and I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, so yeah, I will talk to you guys later. The monthly favorites video, I think, is going to be up soon. So yeah. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever it may be. And yeah, so bye.